disincentivize behaviors you don't like. You can tell everybody you can't go outside or it's off the paddy wagon with you.
This man, he speaks the truth. He speaks the truth. He got a bad rep. He speaks the truth. And the truth of the matter is, with this man right here, no one knows how much information he have shared with Russia, and that's what's keeping America at bay with you know with actually clashing with Russia. Because leave it up to Biden, we would definitely be crashing with Russia. But this man right here is all about this man right here. This is the reason why partial of the reason why World War III would not happen, because this man know a whole lot of information.
Or you can incentivize pro-social behaviors in a voluntary way. For example, in the United States, it has been extremely
This video is on Intervision. Salute to Intervision for putting this video out.
difficult to get tested for COVID-19. Because of shortages or whatever, overburdened healthcare systems, the fact that we don't have a functioning healthcare system in the United States.
Right, the healthcare system is broken. It's not what people assume it to be.
Now, if you have a system like this, and the doctor goes, one of these people who goes and gets one of these rare tests, goes, oh, you actually are infected, upload this to the list. Anybody who has then one of the phones, who is sitting next to you on the bus, who is sitting next to you on the plane, obviously becomes a priority.
Right, so basically what he's saying is that when it comes down to the exposure, all you have to do is say you're exposed, and then you're going to be treated as if you need to get tested, and then most likely, the test is not accurate. That's what he's saying right now.
Documented clear priority for health authorities to let them in. So you go in with your app, you show them, oh hey, I was sitting next to a guy who I don't know who they are, but you just said they were infected. You now get priority access.
He talking about the apps they put on, like the apps they put on your phone. Like most people got apps on their phone that let you know if you're around somebody that you've been exposed to this event. So he letting you know about the technology side of your phone. Like once they put your name in the system, and they got the location where you at, and they could kind of pin who you around or where you at, and they could say, hey, this person been exposed, that person been exposed. So he exposing the technology side of the whole thing.
To this kind of testing, you can get priority access to treatment because it is clear that you have potentially been exposed. And none of this requires privacy sacrifice.
And basically he's saying that your privacy is invaded because given the fact that they could pin your location after they got one person that went in and got tested for it, they could pin your location. They could tell you, hey, you've been exposed, and so basically your privacy with your location, your privacy within your phone, you is being violated because of these things. That's what he letting you know.
None of this requires any sort of involuntary or intrusive violation of rights. And the funny thing is, these capabilities are not difficult to create. This platform, could have been slapped together in 4 days.
He let you know how they pushed the narrative about, the apps that they were going to design, that it could have been created in 4 days. It didn't take a year or 2 years to create it. So, why every time you switch phones, they updating your phones, and they putting things on your phones without you knowing about it.
By a bunch of university researchers working together, if they had the kind of funding and the mandate and the support. Am I comfortable with Facebook and Google, YouTube, whoever? It's like 4 properties that basically run the world today.
So he basically just said that social media run the world. He basically said that YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, they run the world because they control the narrative. They put the information out there, so they run the world.
Jeff Bezos decides what you can and can't buy on Amazon. Facebook decides what you can and can't post on social media. Jack Dorsey or whatever gets dragged into this, and it has to be the politics police. Is that correct? Because some people abuse their authority. And no, I don't think the solution to the abuse.
He's saying that they're abusing their authority by violating your privacy. But on a flip note, when you sign those agreements to actually volunteer to be on their platforms, you don't really know what you're signing.
Of authority is to create more platforms for the abuse of authority. I don't believe
Salute everybody.
Mark Zuckerberg, the central authority for the things that can and cannot be said, is an improvement on the situation. What we are seeing in exactly the situation that you described with Bolsonaro, with Donald Trump, with all of these people denying basic facts.
Like he's saying basically that you can't put on facts, you can't put facts on social media because the narrative is being controlled. You know, the narrative is being controlled, and these are giant companies that actually run everything for the social media platforms. So you're being controlled on what you can and what you cannot say, and what can come out and what cannot and can be released.
Is intentional. It's not a mistake. It is a sustained campaign that's been running for more than a decade now.
He said it's been going on for more than a decade. Where social media has been running the most powerful.
To reduce trust.
Well, he says it's all to reduce trust.
In some of the most important institutions when we're talking about expert understanding of complex, nuanced subjects, because the facts are not in their favor. This is a political struggle for influence. And when the facts are against them, go, well, why don't we undermine the facts? This is centrally, in my mind, an abuse of authority. It is their platform, their trust from their voters who believe that they will do.
Basically talking about how crooked the politicians is, how they align themselves with these four giants or major entities that control narratives for their pockets.
What's best for these voters. And they go and use it for, callous and self-interested political ends to improve their own lot in the next election. Right? But I think what we are seeing as a result of this is we are seeing more harm from the abuse of authority than we are suffering from a...
Notice when they say abuse of authority, they put the American flag right there, right? When they say abuse of authority, they put the American flag. Keep in mind that all these things be hidden messages.
Lack of authority. The government today, in basically any country you point to, is more powerful than it has ever been in any moment in human history.
Didn't I tell you guys that in the live yesterday that the government is more powerful than any moment it ever been? Because when people were protesting for freedom, they was actually protesting to be slaves again. So they use reverse psychology on you, right, to get you back out there because the 1% don't want to lose their lifestyles. Now let me get back to...
And all of these institutions, all of these different political parties, in all of these different cultures, all of these different languages are now coming to their people simultaneously around the world going, well, the problem we see is we don't have enough power. And that's...
You see, it's about power. It's about power, guys. You see, that's a true statement. Because money don't have no value. As I said in the live yesterday, you are the person, you are the power. So if another person is trying to have more power than you, they're trying to make themselves more powerful than you are. Because you are the power, because the monetary system have no value.
It's not persuasive to me. And I think what we see right now...
Drop comments in the comment section, guys.
In fact, is that this is the turning of an age. This pandemic, I believe, which is a serious problem, don't mistake me as downplaying the severity of this. What we are seeing is it is revealing structural flaws.
Didn't I say that yesterday in the live, guys? I said when everybody was locked down, it opened up your third eye, so it made you realize the structural flaws that every country have. Meaning it let you know that how valuable you really was versus these corporations. So they had to get you to go back to work.
Not just in our system of government, but in the system broadly, capitalized proper noun here. There is an idea that governments, going back hundreds of years, exist only for certain reasons. The government is there to provide a basic level of security. This idea of a sense of order, economic well-being, right? It is...
That's what I said in the live yesterday, guys. That's all the government is for. It's for to have order. It's for to have order. You are paying them, and we are paying them to have us in order. We are paying them to be slaves to them. That's all it's about.
Providing for individuals, for people that they cannot provide for themselves. And what we are seeing in places like the United States and around the world is in fact, these are the very governments that have unbalanced the system economically, that have engaged in the kind of aggressive wars, endless wars under the Bush and Cheney administration, that then were underwritten by the Obama administration, now adopted by the Trump administration.
You see, basically what he's saying is that the George Bush, all the presidents are in cahoots. He's basically saying it's one bird, two wings. I'm gonna rewind that part for you guys to hear it. So basically, when you guys say Democrats and Republicans, he's basically saying that they're all one, but they play a game on you like they have different things because they adopt the same policies when they get in office. I'm gonna rewind it so you guys can hear it.
That then were underwritten by the Obama administration, now adopted by the Trump administration. Wars without end, sort of take.
You guys heard it? He said, like it's wars without ending, like starting wars without no ending. So I'm gonna rewind it one more time.
That then were underwritten by the Obama administration, now adopted by the Trump administration. Wars without end, sort of taking a pet crime like terrorism, which is a serious crime, but it is still a crime nonetheless, and now making it a matter of state, right? We are elevating criminals to the levels of equal sovereigns, right? ISIS is being treated like it's a nation as opposed to a very large organized crime syndicate.
Right. Y'all heard that? Like the term ISIS. When ISIS come to mind, you think that it's a state of thought of a country invading another country, when actually it's just an organized crime group of guys, for example, that's doing things that doesn't comply to that country law.
And when you look at the fact that they're not maintaining a sense of order, in fact, our countries are becoming more fractious and divided. They're not providing the security that we're being asked for. They're not being good stewards of the public's health, the public's economy, or, crucially,
my goal in developing a recipe at Blue Apron is to deliver the most amount of flavor in.
So they want to play a commercial in the middle of that because things are heating up. But I'm gonna go ahead on. It's my reaction.
Which I think is really what we should be saying. People have trouble with guaranteeing themselves at scale, right? Justice. Can you say the governments today are doing a good job ensuring sort of uniform access to justice?
You guys believe that? You guys think that the governments of the world are doing a good job when they come down to justice? Do they hold each other to the same plateau that everyday Joe will be held to? Or are they above the law to some degree?
You wrote an entire book on the United States, or about the U.S. justice system's unequal access to justice. I think it was called Liberty and Justice for Some. That's a free plug for the audience there. Yeah. No, the idea here is when you look at these things broadly, and you look at all of these governments panicking, what has begun now is a race between governments.
Exactly, guys. You see, it's a race between governments on what government can have the most power. That's all it boils down to. All it boils down to.
To entrench their.
What part of the 1% gonna be the most strongest? That's what this boils down to. Who is gonna be the elite's favorite? That's all it boils down to.
Power to re-entrench the system that has failed us and is continuing to fail us, and that in a very real way for people who are dependent upon it economically and now medically, it has betrayed us. And a race has begun between all of the crises that this system has produced that are now.
No, it's a key word. He said the crises that the system has produced. So basically, he's letting you know that all these things are manufactured. You know, it's a plan behind it. You know, it's a A, B, C, D, all with a Z plan.
Now working to persuade people that maybe the system needs to be replaced, and the people who are benefiting from those systems.
You already said that was key. That was some key words he said. He said that it's so manipulative that it's making you think it's players that's making you think that the system need to be replaced, but at the same time, it's people who's benefiting from that. What you thinking that it need to be replaced, there's people benefiting from that. So those are the people that you got to watch, because that's the elites who actually benefit from that. And when you got the government corporations, and then you got elites. Let's keep that in mind.
to hold it in place. And I think this is the unanswered question of where this is going to go. But the story of the next 100 years or more is going to be, has the system that has served us to this point, is it under our control?
You guys heard that? If you was in my live yesterday, I said the toughest thing about this is knowing you can't do nothing about it. He just basically said the same thing with different words. You know the system and you can't do nothing about it.
This point, is it under our control, politically, publicly, ideologically? Is it serving our needs? And is the problem simply that it doesn't have enough power? We need to move closer to sort of this Chinese model of unlimited authoritarian demands in response to emergent crises? Or do we need to actually look for something that's got a little less?
So basically what they're letting you know is that China is coming for the world NWO. Right? China want to be that. They want to be the corporation that's favored by the elites. China want to be the corporation that's favored by the elites. They letting you know that, right? So this live, I'm in it. Thank you guys for locking in, and I'm always do these lives. And that video was on Inner Vision. You guys go check it out. It's on YouTube, Inner Vision. Thank you guys for locking in with me.